The Four Nations Face-Off roster announcements have revealed the final squads for the highly anticipated international tournament, featuring the best hockey talent from the United States, Canada, Finland, and Sweden. The tournament will run from February 12th to 20th, and the stakes are high as each team will play 3 round-robin games, with the top 2 advancing to the championship. Let's look at the winners and losers from the roster reveal. Winners: the Tkachuk and Hughes families. One of the most exciting storylines of the tournament is the opportunity for Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, 2 of the NHL's brightest stars, to play on the same team. The Florida Panthers' Matthew and Ottawa Senators' Brady will join forces as teammates on Team USA rather than facing off as opponents. Additionally, New Jersey's Jack Hughes will reunite with his brother, Vancouver's Quinn, as part of Team USA, adding another family connection to the roster. Strong goaltending across the board. Goaltending is crucial in a short tournament, and all 4 teams have stellar options in the net. Team USA boasts Connor Bedard, a 2-time Vezina Trophy winner, and Jake Oettinger, who has had a standout season. Sweden's Linus Ullmark, a recent Vezina winner, and Philip Gustafsson will provide tough competition. Finland's Kevin Lankinen and Canada's Jordan Binnington, who has won a Stanley Cup, round out the elite goaltenders competing. Patrik Laine's comeback. After a series of injuries and personal challenges, Montreal Canadiens forward Patrik Laine has returned to the ice. Laine returned to action recently, scoring a goal in his season debut and making Team Finland. His recovery has been one of the season's feel-good stories, and his inclusion in the tournament is a well-deserved reward for his perseverance. Well-represented NHL teams. The defending champion Florida Panthers and 2023 Stanley Cup winner Vegas Golden Knights have the most representatives on the rosters, with 8 and 7 players, respectively. Florida has 4 players on Finland's roster, while Tampa Bay boasts 3 on Canada's team. The Minnesota Wild, Boston Bruins, Colorado Avalanche, and New York Rangers also have significant representation, showcasing the depth of talent across the league. Colton Parayko's inclusion. Despite not having the best statistical season, St. Louis Blues defenseman Colton Parayko made Canada's roster. The 6'6" blue liner's inclusion is likely a nod to the faith placed in him by Canada's general manager, who also serves as the GM of the Blues, Doug Armstrong. Losers: Connor Bedard snub. Chicago Blackhawks rookie Connor Bedard, the top pick in the 2023 draft, was one of the biggest surprises of the roster reveal. Despite being one of the league's top young stars, Bedard was left off Canada's roster due to the country's depth, especially at center. His omission is shocking given his standout performances, though a sophomore slump and position battles ultimately cost him a spot this time. However, with his skill and potential, Bedard could be a key player for Team Canada in future international tournaments, including the 2026 Winter Olympics. Seattle Kraken and Washington Capitals. Of the 32 NHL teams, the Seattle Kraken and Washington Capitals had no players selected for the tournament. The Kraken has had a mediocre season, but the Capitals, who led the Metropolitan Division when rosters were finalized, were particularly disappointing to see left out. Despite their strong individual performances, star players like Dylan Strome, John Carlson, and Tom Wilson didn't cut. Logan Thompson's omission. Canadian goaltender Logan Thompson, who has been exceptional with a 10-1-2 record and solid numbers, was another notable snub. Despite impressive stats, Canada went with a different net trio, leaving Thompson off the squad. With his performance, Thompson would have been a valuable asset to the Canadian team, but Canada ultimately opted for the experience of Binnington and Hill. Edmonton Oilers limited representation. Despite going to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, the Edmonton Oilers only have 3 players in the tournament. With a rough start to the 2024 season, key players like Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman were left off the roster. Initially on Canada's roster, McDavid was ultimately dropped, with defensive stalwart Mattias Ekholm and injured forward Victor Arvidsson, Sweden, the only Oilers players to cut. The Snubs, too strong a word. Many players from each country could have quickly earned a spot, but were left off due to roster limits. Among the Snubs are USA's Cole Caulfield, Tage Thompson, Clayton Keller, Canada's Mark Scheifele, and Dougie Hamilton. Sweden's William Eklund and Finland's Mattias Maselli were also unfortunate exclusions due to the depth at each position. Conclusion: the Four Nations Face-Off is shaping into an exciting tournament, with incredible talent on display across all four teams. While some high-profile players were left off the rosters due to the depth of talent, the selected players will undoubtedly make for an intense and competitive international competition. Fans can look forward to seeing family connections, top-tier goaltending, and fierce rivalries play out as the teams battle for supremacy.